Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing great. I really appreciate your feedback and giving me topics that you wanted to work on. And so one of the topics that you were asking about is what can I do when I'm headed into a breakup? What can I expect? What's like normal? I feel like I'm stuck in these particular phases. Is that actually healthy for me? So that actually led me to today's topic. And I want to thank you guys in my Freedom from Negative Thinking Facebook group. I love you guys. I love your interaction. I love your messages. I also love you letting me know how this is supporting you, because that lets me know I'm on the right path with you guys and supporting you as well. So thanks for that. Okay, so let's jump in. So what are some of the things that you kind of think of when you're like, oh, breakup? What are some of those spaces? What are some of those emotions? What are some of those experiences? And so you'll actually see on the post that I did before, there's an infographic that you can print out for yourself. And it walks you through 7 steps. And interestingly enough, these are also the 7 stages of grief. And we often, even if we choose to leave a relationship, we don't think, well, why should I be feeling grief? Nobody died. Well, there's actually a loss of that relationship. There's a loss of your identity, of who you were in that relationship. And so it is grief. Grieving is the loss of a relationship. Grieving is the loss of something that was valuable to you. So it's okay that you're going through these steps. It's not healthy for you to stay stuck in them. If you feel like you're stuck in them for a long period of time and not able to move through, make sure you're getting the support that you need. If you find that it feels very traumatic and you need a therapist to work with, find a good therapist. If you find that it's just about your perspective and you want to shift that around, you can look for me. You can find a good hypno coach, or there's a variety of folks who can help you take a look at what you need. So look for those professional supports to help you take a look at what it is that you're going through. So now you'll have the tools that you need for when it comes up again. All right, so we're going to take a look at it, and it's going to be in 7 steps, but I want to emphasize that this isn't in a perfect order. So this is the order it will evolve into, but you might find yourself jumping around them. You might even find that some of them are a cover-up, haha, to some of the others. So for example, as you take a look at the infographic, you're going to see that there's the first experience. Now, whether or not you're choosing the breakup, there's still this experience of, okay, this is kind of shocking. This is really new. This is a big change. I don't want this change. It's shocking my world. So it's like this experience of shock that you're going through. Then there's denial. Nope, this isn't happening. Oh, we can change this. No, it's not gonna, right? And so it's important that you allow yourself to take a look at, what are you telling yourself? What are those things that you're kind of keeping yourself stuck with? Then there's bargaining. Like, how do I get out of this? How do I change this? Now, if you're somebody who's saying, no, I do want this, and I'm the one actually wanting to break up, you might even find yourself going back into bargaining. Like, there's a song that says, I know that you'll be happier without me, but for just a moment, I want to go back. Right. So even you might find yourself going through, well, maybe they could change. Maybe it could be different. Maybe, right? And so kind of that bargaining space. Then you might find yourself getting into anger. Now, I want to emphasize anger. Anger tells you that something is unjust and unfair. Anger doesn't mean you need to lash out. Anger doesn't mean you need to attack. Anger doesn't mean you need to martyr yourself or them, right? Number 5, then there's sadness and grief. Now, I did say these are the stages of grief. So just notice that all of it is the process of grief, but there's an experience of sadness that you can notice. Wow, I feel sad. I feel heavy. I feel that loss. And that's okay, even if it's something that you want. Sadness just tells you that there's a loss of something of value. Now, the relationship, you might say, well, it's kind of not really as valuable as that, but who you were in that relationship was valuable. What it brought was valuable. The fact that you weren't alone might be valuable, because I have a lot of clients who are afraid to be alone. And so, hey, I wasn't alone, that was valuable. So even if it's just that could cause sadness. So then the other thing you want to take a look at as you're moving toward healthier stages, now these are all healthy, but you'll find, let me rephrase that, instead of a healthier stage, a more comfortable stage, right? Even I might grab the words that are not the best to fit a moment. So as you're moving toward acceptance, you'll find that these other stages that you were in feel calmer. I'm not really feeling that angry anymore. I'm not really feeling that shock anymore. I don't need to do any of the bargaining anymore. I feel like I've moved through those things. It's feeling really good. Yeah, yeah, okay. It's feeling really good. The sadness, that's relieved. Cool. And so then you're finding yourself moving toward acceptance. And then the final stages, you find yourself moving on and you're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of your life. You hope the best for that person. And you just find that this was just an experience, just a blessing for yourself, right? And so what I'd like to do is just go into those a little bit more because it's easier. It's easy when we just give advice and just give a little bit of information, but it's more helpful with some of the how to do it. Like, how do I do that? How do I address this? How do I, stuff like that. So what I wanted to do was to be able to go into some of that with you, right? So let's say, for example, well, let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to change this so we can look at the list together, and then you can kind of keep them all in mind. All right, cool beans. I think you can see that. Yeah. All right, so let me turn this a little bit for you. Okay, good. All right, so here's the thing. Oftentimes, shock can even come into play, even if you're choosing to end the relationship because something happened. Maybe you found out the person was not who you thought they were, or maybe they were lying, or maybe they were sneaking or cheating or hurting themselves in some way, and you're just like, this is not the person I thought they were, right? Now, in any one of these stages, you can get support. So this isn't about end the relationship, right? But if you find you've already gotten the support that you needed, or now here's the thing, sometimes you might get the support and you might think that's the only way. Look for other additional supports. If you want to see this relationship work out, you can find other additional supports. I've had clients who've worked with people and they were like, we're done. But then when they work with me, they get new tools and they're like, oh, maybe we're not done. And then they find out there were just some things that they were still believing. They had some limiting beliefs on a subconscious level that they weren't tapping into. They had expectations of their partner that were not correct expectations or expectations of themselves, things like that. So as you're looking over each one of these, I want you to know that if you have made up your mind, I want to break up, nope, this is done, or whatever, this is totally unhealthy, perfect, right? It's your decisions are perfect. And just know if you get to any one of these stages, and let's say you're here into bargaining, and you're like, you know what, there was a couple things I didn't try. It's okay to try them out, but not to stay in a very unhealthy relationship. These are not for you to say, okay, well, let me get help to make it work when you're being abused, or let me get help to make it work when they're always lying and they're always cheating and they're always hurting, right? That's not the case. But if you see that you've got two healthy people and maybe one is showing up with an addiction problem, or and they're willing to work on it, or maybe one, and I mean like pornography or gambling, or not like they're an addiction to out, killing people or out sleeping around, or that's probably very extensive. That's where you want really, really, really important addictive support and things like that. Sometimes some of this stuff comes from self-worth. And so as someone else is working on their self-worth, the relationship can work. And I've even had clients that were in the process of saying, you know what, I want to break up. But what we're going to do is you're going to work on you and I'm going to work on me. And as we're in this process, if things look like they're moving in a healthy direction and you are really changing, then we can talk about things, right? So I do want you to know this is not a black and white. People are not like just straight yes, no. There's room. So it's okay to know that, so you can let yourself breathe. It doesn't have to be a particular way, just like it doesn't have to be in these particular steps. You just want to get to these, right? No matter what it is. And moving on could be, okay, so we're moving on from the negative of our old relationship and we're moving on into the healthy of a different kind of relationship for ourselves now. That is possible. So I just want to share that so that way you're not thinking that this is just cut and dry. It's just the way it is. Because it's not. And when you give yourself some flexibility and some room to grow and breathe, this isn't so stifling. But coming from this place of you have gotten the support that you needed, you both have decided, and actually I work with clients to help them figure out if this is a healthy relationship and they do need to decide to move on. So let's say you have decided that you're going to move on in a healthy way, right? You guys can do it. You're absolutely there. So you still might find yourself in shock because you're shifting your whole life now. If you've been invested into this person for years or anything like that, it's important to know that this is not an easy thing, but it doesn't have to be a super hard, traumatic thing either, okay? There may still be some emotions that are super high feeling that trauma, but you can work through it if you have the tools and the support. So I want to emphasize each one that if you're getting the support that you need, you're going to be fine, okay? You're going, no matter what, you're going to be fine if you get the support that you need and help yourself with the thoughts that you have going on. So things that might get you stuck here are things like, oh, how could this be happening? I can't believe this. How could they have done this to me? Right? So I have had clients that stay in these places because they're stuck in those questions. When you ask yourself new questions like, right, and you notice I'm in a more relieved place, less stressed. What can I do to learn from this? What is this relationship teaching me? What had me pick a person who has this kind of behavior? Is there something that I need to look on for me so I don't choose this kind of person again, right? Or being able to set boundaries with something like this, with yourself, with them, so you don't repeat it. I have many clients who in relationships, it's the same kind of relationship. I did these things myself. I've learned these things personally, by the way. When you have certain beliefs, they will lock you into the same behaviors. And this will stop those behaviors as you're becoming aware of what's going on and learning how to help yourself through the process. It's just a process. And you get to allow yourself to realize it's all natural, it's all normal. What doesn't help is if you get stuck and not being able to get to the rest of the process. And then you're suffering. And that's unnecessary suffering, right? It ends up hurting you and creating this space of now on top of a relationship breakup, I'm going through this kind of torment and torture. You do not deserve that and you do not need that, right? Okay. So as you move into denial, again, even if you're somebody who wants to end the relationship, you might be in denial because, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is too much. I don't know if I could be alone. And you're putting yourself into, oh my gosh, this is, I can't handle this. I can't believe this. And you can actually throw yourself into a very upsetting place. And that's so important to keep in mind. You don't want to add extra pain and extra hurt to a situation that's already painful, right? And remember, pain doesn't have to be bad. Pain helps you to grow, just like a mother giving birth, right? The pain actually helps her to know that it's time for the baby to come out. Without that pain, he or she would just hang out in there and they wouldn't make it, right? Babies can't live in moms forever. So the pain, right? You smash your hand, the pain tells you, ooh, it needs attention. So the pain is not bad. It's just telling you that something needs attention and you deserve that, right? Okay, so then moving into bargaining, and that's a little bit of what I was talking to you about before. Like, well, maybe, possibly, could be, what if you? So you want to take a look at what it is that you might be questioning yourself with. And this also might be part of self-doubt. Like, maybe that wasn't the best decision. Maybe I should try it this way, or you know what, I take it back. I'm sorry, I was just upset, right? So you want to take a look at, is this in a healthy space? If you are stuck in these and it's not in a healthy space, then this is not healthy for you to stay stuck and you want to get help. And not help like you're bad or wrong or you can't do it yourself or you're just weak or no. Help like it's easier to carry something with help. It's easier to figure out something from somebody who already knows and who's already done it. It's not because you're weak or anything like that. It just means that you don't have a perspective that will help you get out yet. So you help get that new perspective that has you go, oh, okay, I got it. And then it just moves you through with ease. These things, although they might be painful in a breakup, they don't have to be torturous. They don't have to be depressed and with such pain coursing through your body. Like literally, I've had clients where their body's hurting. That doesn't have to be there, right? It's so important that you allow yourself to take a look at when you're doing these steps, that they're healthy steps. But if you're stuck in them, then you're not in a healthy practice of the steps. Make sense? It's normal for these things to come up. It's not normal. I don't say it's not normal, but it's not healthy to stay stuck in them because it's going to hurt you, right? And you don't want that to be your normal. You can make hurt your normal. Believe me, I've been there. You can make self-doubt your normal. You can make living in an unhealthy relationship your normal. Why? We only have a short amount of time here. Make sure you are taking care of you. Make sure you are in the best relationship you deserve. All right? Okay. So now some of you may be uncomfortable with anger. Some of you may go to anger. So I want to put a little emphasis here because oftentimes anger has us feel strong and powerful and in control. And when that's the case, we just anger. Everything we're feeling, our response is anger. So it's important, if that's happening for you, to notice that anger is covering up everything else. It just is. Because if these are the natural progression, but you're not noticing any of them except anger, and sadness is the runner-up for others. For me, sadness was my first, anger was my second. But anger was the one that was really where I needed to look. So you want to pay attention. Anger tells you that something is unjust and unfair, right? It doesn't mean that you're supposed to hurt somebody. It doesn't mean that you're supposed to lash out. It doesn't mean that you're supposed to martyr them and make them wrong and punish them forever with everything you say and do. Like, I forgive you. Oh, I can't believe you did that, but I'll forgive you, right? Or if you're in the middle of a breakup, I can't believe you did that. You're such a piece of... It's really this aspect of beating up a person, or we could do it subtly. Oh, I can't believe you did that. That was so painful. That was so selfish. That was so hurtful. Right? That's a little more subtly, right? But it's still venting out anger on somebody, having them feel bad. Right? Now, we could do the same thing with sadness, right? The same words I just said could be more in a sad way. I can't believe you did this to me. It's just so terrible. Like, I can't, I was always good to you. Now, it's one thing if we're having that conversation the first time, but when it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, it's hurting you and it's hurting them. And then you're feeling guilty because you're hurting them and so on. Or if you're in the midst of the breakup, you're just doing it to you. I can't believe they did that to me. This is so terrible. What does that mean? Does that mean like I'm not lovable and I'm not worthy and I'm, and like you might think I'm making fun, but I'm not. I'm not making fun. I actually can feel that pain as I'm speaking those things over, right? When you speak those things over yourself and over your life, it's going to automatically create more pain because it's making you bad and wrong. It's making the other person out to be like the perpetrator on you, like they're always hurting you. Every time you replay that, it hurts you again and again and again, like they just did it again and again and again. Even if you both agree the relationship's not a good fit, you might find yourself going through these circles because it may be a pattern in your life that they're just now reinforcing. And so you want to notice those patterns, break up those patterns. You don't have to have them stuck. Right? Get that off. As you move through these, you begin to shift into acceptance. And acceptance looks like, okay, I got this. I get that it's not a good fit. I get that, we're both going to be able to move into our own lives. I get the blessings I got from the relationship. I get what I needed to learn from the mistakes and the choices I made in the relationship that maybe weren't the best ones. I get how I was letting them do or say things or whatever was going on. You get to learn from it. And as you're accepting it, you find yourself ready to move on. Now, move on doesn't mean you're ready to jump into another relationship. And ladies and gentlemen, be careful of doing that. If you're moving on into another relationship, that is called a rebound. Now, if you've been in this for years, which I know clients who have been, that's a little bit different. You've already been ready for the breakup for a very long time. You both were just afraid to move on, maybe because there were kids, or maybe because somebody was sick in the relationship, or something was happening. And so you decided to kind of hang out almost like roommates. Well, if you're moving on after a relationship like that, that makes sense, right? You already were ready to move on a long time ago. But if you are just getting through this and you find yourself, and sometimes people will skip all this and just move on. And all this is still there. And now it's there kind of left as baggage in the new relationship. But because the new relationship feels so good and so wonderful, and I don't even notice that other stuff, well, it's not going to just disappear. It's stuff that you get to work through, so you can just let it go. And for some of you, again, if you've been doing this for years, you may have already worked through it, but there may be some residual stuff left over. It's almost always the case if you stayed in a relationship you didn't want to be in, there's still residual stuff. It just is. So it's important to notice there's nothing wrong, right? There's nothing wrong with cleaning out the house. There's nothing wrong with taking out the trash. There's nothing wrong with going and getting the cobwebs out. That's what this is. Right? It's taking out the trash. It's getting the cobwebs out. It's taking out the negative perspectives and the limiting beliefs and the not setting boundaries and the being too controlling and being afraid to make choices and all that stuff, right? That's just, we got to clean that up. We got to get that out of there. We got to clean out that mind so it's feeling good and refreshed. So then you've got room for your new relationship, or you've got room for your new hobby, or you've got room to treat people the way you want to treat them because this other stuff isn't bubbling up. You've got room to love yourself in a brand new way, to treat yourself to a life you deserve of love and kindness and fun and ease. That's what we're here for, guys. That is what we're here for. We were created to be creators, to love God and love each other. The rest is what we make up. So why not make it up to be fun and exciting? Why not do that? Because you can. That's what your relationship gets to look like with yourself, first of all, and then with everyone else. Intimacy into me, I see. And you want to create that. And I want to share with you, I'm going to be doing a free webinar for couples as well as for individuals who want to learn more about how to grow their relationship, whether it's just one side of the couple or you're just one person yet waiting for the other half of being a couple. When you're creating that health and you're creating that wellness and you're creating that abundance of love and just feeling that flow inside yourself, that's what you're going to bring to you. And if you see that there's stuff like that that's not matching that coming to you, you're going to be like, sorry. Don't fit, no fit, don't fit that puzzle. And you'll just be able to set some boundaries and be like, no, thank you, I appreciate it, but no, we have too many things that are not in common, or, no, it's just not going to work out, or, whatever. You're able to say no without problem, without getting into a relationship, without trying things out first, without seeing what happens. You're able to know because you're very clear about your red flags. You're very clear about your green flags. You're very clear of this stuff of your past relationships. And not just your intimate relationships, but your other intimate relationships from when you were growing up as a child, from other relationships, maybe of friends where you allowed things that, that's not what a good friend does. Right? And being able to set boundaries, and you get real clear on all that stuff. And that's creating into me, I see support and love and cleaning it up. Right? I want you to think of me as the declutter lady or the mind trash lady. I will help you take it out so it can be clear. And I am helping you take it out. I'm not doing it for you. So in the process, I'm training you and retraining you to know how to do it for yourself. And that is so important because you're going to take that with you the rest of your life, right? That story, it goes, somebody asks you for a fish and instead you teach them how to fish, so then they know how, and then they can feed the whole community because they're then going to teach the whole community how to fish. That's what we're doing here, guys. So keep this in mind. Know that it's the normal healing process for the human mind and human heart, and that there isn't the normal, like it has to be a particular way. The way it's going for you is the way it's going for you. And that's okay. Just notice if there's any areas that you're stuck or you find that you're just in one, then the flow isn't happening. Not that you're not normal, because you are normal. The flow that you want to follow is not happening. So something has you stuck that's in an unhealthy place. That's it. So look into, it's going to be it's going to be April 1st. Look into my relationship workshop, right? The first one, August 1st, is going to be a free webinar. And then from the webinar, I'm going to introduce you to the group if you would like to join. But the webinar is free. We're going to go into more information, not so much of this information, but we're going to go into how your emotions are there to guide you. We're going to go into how to listen to your partner, how to ask for what you need and not assume that they're supposed to know. We're going to go into a lot of things like that to help you have the tools to improve your relationship, to help you have that intimacy, to have that fun, have that connection. It's just going to feel so much better. You deserve that. Your partner deserves that. The partner you're going to have deserves that. And not just that. This isn't just for relationships that you're intimate with. This is for your family, how you speak to them, how you relate to them, how you're able to ask for what you need with them, how you're able to set boundaries with people who don't have boundaries. Yeah, we're going to go over all that. So keep a lookout. I'll be posting about it. It's going to be April 1st, free webinar. Invite your friends. It's open to as many. It's going to be in Zoom, so we're able to have actually a couple hundred folks in there. So I'm looking for that to be a really great event. You guys take care of yourself, and as always, bring it in. Big squishy hugs, guys. You take care of you. Know that you're loved. Know that as you're going through this, it's okay. Know that you do not have to do it alone, and get that support that you need. And quite possibly, if you feel like you want more support and one-on-one is not quite your thing, then you can join the group and you can get that relationship building, starting with yourself, because then you're going to attract exactly what you're looking for. You take care of you. Have a beautifully blessed day. Ciao for now.